And welcome back to the Big Red B. Schneid Show. Today, Jim and I are going to be talking about Jordan Larson leaving Nebraska to pursue her professional volleyball career. The Huskers also picked up a volleyball transfer. It was a busy weekend for Dylan Raiola, whether it was working with his quarterback coach or down partying with the Chiefs. And the Huskers are in play for an offensive guard that started in the national championship game. Be sure to like, subscribe, and shoot us a comment your way. Jim, how you doing?
Doing good. A little cool today. I think it'll get above about 67 today.
Actually got up in the 50s in Lincoln today.
I heard that.
Believe it got up to 57. But let's
There you go.
dive into it, Jim. So Jordan Larson coached 2 seasons at Nebraska, and now she's going to the Omaha volleyball professional team. Um, she she's playing with that Wong Ortega. Gosh, I can't say her name. The one that had the record before
Steve,
uh, before Lexi Rodriguez broke
Christine,
it. Lauren
yes.
or Lauren Strivens plays there, and then Lexi Rodriguez is on the team now as well.
And I think you've also got what were the two sisters from Iowa? The one just transferred this last year. Um, they play there, and Lawrence Sturbins and her sister plays there too, and so does Allie.
Allie plays for the Supernovas. They're two separate teams.
Okay.
The Supernovas have Batenhorst Krause, but yeah, John Cook didn't seem that too thrilled that Larson was departing from the program.
No, no, but what do you expect? As assistant coaches, she was trying to shuffle a lot between the
Yeah,
two.
I'm curious if her salary playing volleyball will be more than what she was making as an assistant coach.
I kind of looked at that. The salaries on the volleyball players range from like 60,000 to a buck 70, buck 50. So it's not a lot, not a
And
lot
I'd
to live on.
I'd be okay with that salary right now, but
Yeah, yeah, I bet you would.
I mean, it'd be great. But yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting to see if Coach Cook brings in another assistant for the season or if he rocks with what he has.
Right. Well,
But
I bet he brings in somebody, some assistant.
you got any people out there you could think of?
Well, without this, there was a lot of people before this little startup professional volleyball league started, but oh, God, I don't know, maybe Fecky. Kind of fun to see her back.
Oh yeah, I don't even know if she's still playing or not.
I don't think so.
But along with the volleyball, the Huskers picked up a graduate transfer from Baylor, Ali Cizik, left-handed outside hitter. She had 2.45 kills per game and was a two-time second team All Big 12 player.
Yeah, and I understand they also got another potential to fill Lexi's place too in the future.
Are you talking transfer?
No, no,
No, the recruiting class. I know that they brought in, I believe, 5 highly touted recruits,
right.
number one in the nation, from Arizona as well. But yeah, I think she'll plug in well. I mean, you have to replace Merritt Beeson on the outside, so and then also losing Landfair and
Overall,
Krause.
overall, John's still got a lot of talent to work with.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be just fine next year. The matter is just getting over the hump in the Final Four and winning it all.
Yep.
But now let's transition to Dylan Raiola's weekend. So Jeff Christensen came to Lincoln to work out with him in the offseason. He can't work out with his Glenn Thomas, his quarterback coach at the university, but Christensen works out with several different quarterbacks. He's done it with Patrick Mahomes. He's trained Will Howard, who just won a national championship, um, numerous quarterbacks. So he's getting in the work there. What are your
It
thoughts
seems
on what are your thoughts on that? Because some people say, well, I don't know if the quarterback coach at Nebraska, Glenn Thomas, would like that. But on the other hand, he can't even help him out in the fact that he's training with a guy that's trained professional quarterbacks. I think is very
I think that's
helpful.
a lot of people pissing and moaning over. wannabe stuff. I think Dylan's got a lot of talents based upon who he is, who his dad is, and his overall talent too. Don't take away from his talent. I think a lot of people want to be associated with Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, he's been working out with him since high school. His younger brother works out with him as well. And then along that, Dylan Raiola was at the Outland Trophy ceremony. Will Howard came to town for that. I think he also worked out with Christensen. And then, or I'm not so sure about that part, but then Raiola was spotted the next night in Kansas City for the AFC Championship. And after the game, there was a picture of Dawson Merritt, the four-star edge coming from Kansas City. And then you had his dad who coaches for the Chiefs. And then you had Terry Braden, the new defensive line coach who will come to Lincoln after the Chiefs' the season's over. And then you had Raiola in the locker room. Um, and then after that, someone interviewed him on the field after the game, Raiola, and he told them, Jim, you're muted. You're muted. I'm going to pause it for you. So what were you trying to say, Jim?
I said you talk about somebody trying to live in a dream right now. Dylan Raiola with his contacts and places where he's at and what he's doing. I mean, this is fantastic. What kind of
Yeah.
college kid?
I mean, being 19 years old and being able to go into the Chiefs locker room and celebrate, and people think he's Patrick Mahomes' nephew or something is kind of funny.
Yeah, it
But
is.
after the game, Raiola told a reporter, said, the Chiefs are blah, 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 are great. This is their third straight time. And he said, I could see us winning a national championship next season.
Oh, really?
That's a lot. That's a lot to put out there, to put on the table. I don't mind the confidence, but that's a lot to put out there. I think Nebraska's should try to normally get to 9 wins before we think about a national championship, but
I don't know. If I'm a 18, 19-year-old kid and getting to hang around with Patrick Holmes at the AFC championships and in the locker room, I don't think you're going to judge me by stupid things I say.
no, and it's better to be confident than not. Now, what I would
Absolutely.
do would like to know and find out is when Raiola's training this offseason, how much training is he doing scrambling outside the pocket? Is he doing anything stepping up? Because Patrick Mahomes, who people say he idolizes and mocks his game upon, whether Raiola will admit it or not or whatever, you see Mahomes in the AFC Championship game scrambling and making plays. And he's not that necessarily that fast of a quarterback, Mahomes, but he's making plays. You see Josh Allen doing the same thing. Now, Josh Allen's a little more athletic than Dylan Raiola or Patrick Mahomes, but you get my point.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
don't think Dylan's is athletically talented as either of those two guys.
I think he has potential. You saw it at Ohio State last
But,
year.
but his wheels aren't that good,
I
not
don't.
compared to
He had a
those three.
40-yard carry though. I agree. No, Dylan Raiola ain't gonna line up and outrun a defensive back. But if he can pick up 10 yards here and there when there's the play's broken, that'd be huge.
Yeah, and by an extra 2 seconds or something, fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be able to improvise too much with the pocket from last year, and I think I assume that that's what he's working on in this offseason, really focusing on that,
Yeah, I would hope so.
especially with the speed they've added at receiver to pair with Ja'Cory Barney. Those receivers can run a scramble drill route.
Right. So I did hear, wasn't there a pretty good significant article on the defensive coordinator's pay this year coming up?
What defensive coordinator?
Uh, was it over whoever's taking over the defensive coordinator?
Talking about Tony White at Florida State?
No,
Wait,
Nebraska.
well, John Butler is the
That's the
defensive.
one I'm talking about.
He's going to get an increase.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
goes
Oh
over a
yeah.
million bucks.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, he definitely will. I bet he makes. If I had to guess what it'll probably be about 1.5 million.
Okay. I was thinking mention was like 1.1, 1.2, but okay.
In that ballpark, though, for sure. I mean, nowadays the coordinators are making that type of money. 10 years ago, they were making maybe 500 grand, and now they're making at least double that. Well,
Let the money go.
Let's transition to Nebraska. We are recording this on Tuesday, January 28th, and they are hosting currently, right as I speak, a transfer that started the national championship game, Rocco Spindler, right guard. He visited Lincoln or not Lincoln, he visited Indiana this past weekend, but the report coming out of today is that it's between Nebraska and Michigan. He's expected to take a visit to Michigan this later this week. And he didn't start the season for Notre Dame. He didn't start the first three games, from what I understand, but he did start the rest of the way. He's 6'5", 325 pounds. He'll have 1 year of eligibility, and I think that Nebraska's in good play to get him.
It makes you kind of wonder why he's doing that, why he's transferring from a team that just played for the national championship while you're taking off your last year.
Well, there's a number of things. It could be a bad relationship with the offensive line coach, not a guaranteed starting position, and maybe he wanted more money. That's just the world we live in. It is shocking. You start the national championship and start most of the season, and then you're like, well, we didn't win, but I'm leaving anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's just the world we live in college football. But you think about you plug in Spindler to Nebraska's offensive line. Well, think about it. You got the Elijah Pritchett transfer from Alabama who started last year for the Crimson Tide. He's got some more developing to do. But then you think about you got Justin Evans, started 2 years at Nebraska. Then you're going to have Gunnar Gatula on the offensive line, who started
Right.
last year due to injuries. And then Letovsky's recovering from some offseason stuff. He played guard. And then the question mark is Turner Corcoran and Teddy Prohaska. Does one of those guys slide on the inside? Prohaska's probably going to stick at tackle, but can Corcoran play a guard? But you add Spindler in there, you could probably pencil him in. You will pencil him in as a starter. Now the question is, do they put him at center? Do they keep him at guard and move Evans to center? Because they also have Sam Sledge, who's been in the program for a couple of years, and if he was developed correctly, should be ready to go.
Yeah, you mentioned Teddy in there. Um, he has been so doggone injury prone. You wonder if he'll even try try it one more year.
Yeah, because that's something that hasn't been confirmed. It's up in the air if Teddy Prohaska is even going to be pursuing another season to play college football. I know
And
he's a
I
part of the
find it
team
highly
and program, but I agree. You see that happen so many times. You can't bank on Turner Corcoran and Teddy Prohaska. If you have them, great. But if you're looking at the depth chart in February this year, and let's say they pick up Spindler and they have Pritchett, well, you pencil in for disregard spring ball, they still have a pretty solid line. I'd say you'd have Gatula at the right or left tackle and Pritchett at the other. You'd have Spindler and Evans or Letovsky at the guards, and then maybe one of them three at center, or you plug in. Um, we had some technical difficulties. Jim's microphone ain't wanting to run today. I don't know if it's operator error or manufacturer error. But we guess we might not never know. But anyway, I think that Nebraska's offensive line as a whole is shaping up to be pretty good, especially if they can get Spindler. Some people have already predicted that Nebraska can pull it off, but you know how the transfer portal works nowadays. And Jim is not working again. We will be back.
Yep.
Anyways, Jim,
Yes, sir.
closing
It
out.
sounds like there's potential that this is one of the best offensive lines Nebraska's had in quite a while. Okay.
Uh, I don't know. And it's still not working.
Not working.
You think it's going to be one of the best offensive lines Nebraska's had in a while? I'll wait and see.
Yeah, we're sure.
We're gonna have to go back and see what is wrong with Jim's audio. It wasn't working with the connection, unfortunately. I apologize for that. I want to close out. Nebraska's having a big junior day this weekend. They're hosting three four-star offensive tackles. They're hosting four-star defensive linemen. They're hosting linebackers, receivers. I could name them all off. Bottom line is Nebraska's getting a lot of high key quality offensive and defensive recruits coming in to Lincoln. And then also closing, before I close out the show, Matt Rule visited the Senior Bowl. You can see on social media, on Twitter, he shared some photos of him with Thomas Fidone and Tommy Hill and Ty Robinson down in Mobile, Alabama. Pretty cool to see. Not every coach goes and visits their players. Just a player's coach, Coach Rule is. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I think that Raiola is working on his scrambling, but it'll be interesting to see once spring ball comes. They get Spindler, is going to be huge. They're going to get another big lineman. And then let me know what you guys think about Jordan Larson leaving. So be sure to comment and subscribe. And as always, go Big Red.